For today's video, we're going to get some gameplay with the new Instigator, which is currently available in the weekly store for 1680 gold. And here's everything else that was added to the weekly store. Also, Stare Down South is going to be returning to the event store when it resets Friday evening. And he's definitely a hero you're going to want to get if you want to buff your Teddy. Anyways, here's what the Instigator looks like up close. And the original perks that came with it were reload speed, durability, fire damage, weapon stability, and damage to miss monsters and bosses. And whenever you keep the bow drawn past max charge, it'll fire an arrow that debuffs the target, which increases their damage taken from all sources by 20% for 10 seconds. And that won't apply to bosses. I guess the main thing I wanted to point out is that you can put all damage perks on it, and you can also choose between any element. But the perks we're going to use while we test it are crit damage, crit rating, physical damage, crit damage, damage to slowed and snared. And at the very bottom it says sniper rifle, bow, spec ops. Fires an arrow that drops over time, damage range and velocity increase with charge time. And we're going to use Stoneheart Farah throughout the gameplay. But while we test it, we're going to use Rabbit Raider Jonesy with the Totally Rockin' Out team perk. And for our support team, we have Breakbeat Wildcat, Mainstage Quinn, Crossbones Barrett, Redline Ramirez, and Swamp Knight. And the mission we're going to do is this power level 132 fight the storm, and Cookies is going to be helping us out.
I burned my foot!
I stepped onto the grill and it clamped down on my foot. That's it. I don't see what's so hard to believe about that.
So the first thing I want to point out is the debuff perk that we have on it. Whenever you fully charge your arrow, it'll debuff the target, and you can tell if it's debuffed because you'll see this little red symbol above their head. And whenever you see this symbol, that means it'll take 20% increased damage from all sources. And you see it went away after 10 seconds.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
No, I didn't say Siri. I said, as you can see, it went away.
I'm not sure I understand.
Shut up, Siri. And you can tell when it's fully charged because you'll see this red glow on the tip of the arrow.
Just a tip.
Let's see how much damage our traps deal. 37,000 on the original hit. Now let's see how much damage it deals. See if the traps apply to it or not. 45,000. So it will increase the damage that the enemies take when it comes to traps. 977 with our gray pistol. And shoot him in the foot.
The foot?
Okay, now let's see how much damage we do. 2,500, 2,000, and 1,100. So the debuff will apply to your teammates as well, because we just did more damage when he had the debuff active. Oh, Grandpa just shot me in the ass. Friendly fire, Grandpa. So yeah, it doesn't look like defenders are going to be able to trigger the debuff. I don't think they pull it back far enough. We'll try to keep an eye out on our defenders during the defense, but yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to apply the debuff. I also want to see if it works with gadgets, and we're going to go ahead and use our turrets for this example. When we use it without the buff, we get around 5,900 damage, and once we apply the debuff, we're doing over 7,100 damage. So this is the only weapon in Save the World that can increase your damage with gadgets. Also, it will stack with perks from other bows, like the Love Song bow. But you're going to have to shoot the Instigator first, because if you shoot the Love Song bow to stun them, and then shoot the Instigator, the stun's going to go away. But it can stack if you shoot the Instigator first and then the Love Song bow. And when I tested it against the Storm King, it didn't debuff him, but it did work against the mini bosses. We just one-shot the Smasher, and we did 2.3 million damage. One thing I should point out when it comes to bows is that they did buff them recently. And when I tested the Night Owl bow, I was able to do 2.8 million damage with it. So the Instigator is not the best bow when it comes to dealing damage to single targets. But I've not been able to do 2.3 million with any other bow other than Night Owl. So I would say it's the second best when it comes to dealing damage to single targets. But again, this bow does allow you and your teammates and traps to all deal more damage if the debuff is active. So although we don't deal as much damage per shot compared to the Night Owl bow, Technically, we can allow that target to take more damage if it's debuffed. So I guess this is more of like a support type weapon, because it not only benefits you, but it also benefits your teammates. Must be from Australia. And you'll also be able to one-shot blasters with it. And we did 2.2 million damage that time. And let's go ahead and try it out against the Taker. 2.3 million. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna try to kill that blaster, which is all the way on the other side of the map, all the way from over here. I don't know if y'all can see that, but he's...
Hold on, Awa. I'm gonna see if you actually go for the shot. Let's see. I'm gonna go all the way over here just in case.
You got it just for the win, Cookie.
Come on, you got this, A1.
I got this.
You cooking, man. Come on. Oh! You hit him!
Did I hit him?
Yes, you did!
Are you...
Yes! How many distances was that?
See, I tried shooting the propane tanks a few times, but I always end up killing them. Oh, there we go. As long as you kill the exploders fast enough, it shouldn't set off the propane tank. And it's not going to be able to pierce through the shield or shield either. What is this smasher doing? Are you stuck? Oh, nope.
Let me smash.
He's not stuck.
You little monster! I thought you were masturbating!
Alright, here we go, people.
That's enough blue glow. You got this, Commander.
Let's see what kind of element we get. Nature, and we built with metal. Oh, man.
Oh, Lord. Ay! Oh my god, you just had to build with metal, A1.
Well, they didn't show us the element when I was building, so...
Oh, okay.
I didn't know.
Oh boy.
Enemy down!
So we do have a couple of tunnels helping us out, as well as a couple of defenders. And they're both using the Instigator as well. It was kind of hard to tell if they get that debuff bonus, because you can't see their damage numbers. But I know it applies to traps. I know it also applies to your teammates. And I'm assuming it applies to defenders as well. And I also really like how it increased our damage with gadgets. Like I mentioned earlier, there aren't any weapons in Save the World that buff your gadget damage. So with it doing the second most damage out of all of the bows, being able to buff your teammates' damage, as well as your traps and your gadgets, I would definitely recommend getting this one and maxing it out. It's pretty much good when it comes to everything except for crowd control. You could sort of help improve that by using Stoneheart Farah, but it's not going to be as good as some other bows like the boom bow, the vacuum tube bow.
Whoa!
It's not going to be as good as those bows when it comes to crowd control.
Yeah, I'm like getting a bunch of enemies over here in this area.
But yeah, this bow is definitely unique. And I also really like how it stacks with other bows, like we did earlier with the Love Song bow. And I'm willing to bet that this isn't the last bow we're going to see in Save the World. I mean, we still haven't gotten a bow for the medieval set, or the flintlock weapon set, or the neon weapon set. So chances are we'll get some more bows in the future, but yeah, I really like how it can stack with other bows. And in my opinion, I think this is one of the best support weapons in the game. Like, I know the ear splitter can also buff your damage, but last time I checked, ear splitter doesn't buff your gadget damage.
And when they're trying to get into the nucleus. Come on, we got this.
But yeah, to sum up the damage that we dealt with bows, we did 2 million with the Love Song bow, 2.1 with, oh, look at all that damage. 2.1 with the Cloudburst bow. We did 2.3 with this one, and 2.8 with the Night Owl bow. So that's why I say this is the second best when it comes to dealing damage to single targets. And I think we got Flinger spawning in, Cookie.
Oh crud! Wait, hold on. Quick question: did you just say elbow?
Night Owl bow. Owl bow.
I thought you said elbow. My elbows are right here.
So we are using a slightly different loadout than when we were testing it. Obviously, we're using Stoneheart Farah at the moment. And we're also using an energy one, because I had a feeling we were going to get an element.
Husk spotted.
Hopefully we get some. Oh, there we go. 110,000.
Enemy down. Woo!
And that was with our traps. So I do believe it also applies to traps as well. The debuff you get. So basically it applies to everything except defenders. I'm not 100% sure on. But I believe it applies to them as well. Do you have a gadget that deals damage, Cookie?
I do not, A1. All I got is like stars, you know, and smoke screen, and the thing that you go up in the air and do like a backflip. What is it? What is it called? Chameleon?
But yeah, we'll see if it applies to mini bosses or not, because if it does, I feel like it could really be useful when it comes to certain events. You just want to shoot that high health target with this bow and then have you and your teammates take them out. But definitely a really good bow in my opinion. The only thing where it's sort of slacking is when it comes to crowd control. There's a few other bows that are better when it comes to crowd control. One thing you could do though is do what we're doing, which is use Stoneheart Farah. So that way you get that little explosion bonus.
Yeah, I got Pharaoh too.
But definitely not the best when it comes to crowd control. Oh, mini boss is out. Yep, I see him. All right,
I don't have to use the big guns.
let me try to slow him down. Bring him down this way, Cookie, if you can.
I am about to die. Oh no, I'm down!
You're good. We got you.
There you go again. I am alive!
So it does apply to mini bosses. Look, Cookie.
Oh,
The
yeah,
thing is
it
above
does.
his head.
Yep, I see it, I see it.
Perfect.
Woo, it's doing massive damage.
So now that I know it applies to mini bosses, I would say go ahead and get the bow, people. You don't necessarily have to max it out right away, but I feel like this could be useful in certain situations. So yeah, it applies to mini bosses too, people. Make sure you try to get it before it's gone.
Dude, this thing worked.
But yeah, that's what it looks like against the power level 132 mini boss. Let's go ahead and try to get some flingers. I'm pretty sure we could one-shot them if we were using the other loadout. But I just prefer using Stoneheart Farah because just look at that. You kill so many more husks with just one arrow. We got sploders coming in, Cookie.
Yep, I see him. I gotta think of a bobber. You know what? I don't know.
We also got a couple of new Wargame event quests this week. If y'all would like us to show how to build for Wargames, then let me know in the comments below. We also got Stare Down Southie. I don't think I've reviewed him yet. So if y'all would like us to review him, let us know. If not, we'll go back to finishing the Spec Op weapons, because we still have to do the Turncoat and the Cyclops. So let me know if y'all would like to see Stare Down Southie next. Oh, what just hit me? Or would y'all like us to continue on with the Spec Ops weapons? Oh, Cookies, what happened?
I don't know, man. I'm like, it's crowded over here at the moment.
It was the lobbers. It was the lobbers. We're good now, though. We're good.
Alright.
We only got a few seconds left. But yeah, that'll pretty much do it for our first Instigator gameplay. For those of you who have tried it, let us know what you all think about it. Cookies, you tried it. What do you think about it?
I think it's great. You just gotta have the right hero loadout, and you'll be going places with this weapon.
The main thing I like about it is that we were able to one-shot the Smasher. So that's one of the main reasons I recommend getting it and maxing it out. But I also really like how it affects mini bosses.
Nicely done, Commander.
Alright, so we got a level 4 loot chest with gold, legendary perk up, and schematic XP. We also got some more gold, as well as some fire up, some amp up, Centurion Hawk and Lunar tickets, and we also got some Eye of the Storm. But yeah, that'll do it for this one. Big shout out to Cookies for helping us out. Hope y'all enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.